This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library.
Enough, you can get the Truefire All Access Pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price you can get Truefire All Access for.
I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but I'm always sort of on the lookout for little bits and pieces that I can try that other people have maybe done. And I was building a Scott Henderson preset the other day, and I started looking, there was this video, like a masterclass, and he was dialing in, this was like studio tones, and with the Marshall normal channel, like a Plexi normal channel, which is a little bit darker. If you've ever tried a Marshall, you know, I'm quite surprised at how different the bright and normal channel are, to the point where the bright channel is like a little bit too bright, the normal channel is maybe a little bit too woolly in some cases, right? And he was, yeah, he might have been using 2 notes or something like that, but in any case, in the DAW, he went in and he added like a bit of a boost. I think it was about a 2 dB boost at 3.3 kilohertz. And this is a video just kind of experimenting with that in our Helix. So I've got a preset here, which is my Eric lead tone, which actually my tastes have sort of changed a little bit. This has been, like, for a long time, my go-to sound. Like, it's a very smooth, warm tone. But here's the thing, like, he mentions, like, if you find yourself, like, suddenly in a situation with, like, a little bit of a louder drummer, or, you know, like, there's a lot of washiness, or maybe you've got some synths in the band, he kind of pointed out that this 3.3 kilohertz is quite a nice sort of spot where you can add sort of like upper end presence. We'll try that in this intro here. So I don't know if you felt like you could hear the difference there. You could go subtle with this, or you could go less subtle. I think I'm going to go less subtle to just kind of make the point. But to me, this is doing like a little bit of a thing where it's like, okay, some of my moves that I make in the digital modeling universe are going to be favoring darker tones that are not kind of getting harsh on my ears. So that's why I use high cuts, in particular on the cab, so that goes down to like 4 kilohertz. It's a -6 dB per octave cut, so it's actually not super aggressive, but it is definitely doing like a blanketing thing. And in the real world, I would do the same thing, like whether that's running treble lower, if I have an EQ pedal, That'd be useful. I'll just take some of that high end off. But here's like the thing, like if you find you've gone too far with that, one of the things you can do without changing the tone drastically, this seems to me to kind of change how the perception is of the overall thing, rather than it going, well, suddenly now there's a load of high end. It's kind of changing things in a fairly subtle way. So a boost at 3.3 kilohertz. If you've never heard what 3.3 kilohertz actually is, then this is that. So these are actually, you know, higher than the electric guitar notes go, but there is definitely a lot of information in this area still. Beyond these are where you get the more fizzy, airy tones, and I feel like that's where sometimes in digital stuff, at least, that stuff can get quite fatiguing. So that is why I kind of chop some of that out. But anyway, let's just jump into this and I'll show you. And maybe in some cases you might want to shift that around. So again, now we're at 4.4 kilohertz. It's not really changing too many of the fundamentals of the tone, right? The further below 3.3, etc. you go, the less transparent it becomes, right? And then it's starting to interfere with your tone. But 3.3 and above, it seems kind of transparent-ish. I guess there's a reason that on the Boss G, the Boss EQ, 3.2 kilohertz is one of these key numbers. So yeah, I think definitely give this a try. I'll catch you in another video soon. Cheers for stopping by.